People in the comments said that did find it offensive, said, that sounds like he groomed you, right? Somebody commented back, he's called the groom and the bride. So I looked up the definition of what a groom means, right? The definition of groom is brush and clean, all right? You go back to Ephesians 5, and it says that he's supposed to wash you with water through the word and present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any blemish. He's supposed to clean you. He's supposed to brush you. He's supposed to wash you. He's supposed to help you elevate and be better, the best version of yourself. That's his job. It also says too, just to even break it down a little bit more, another definition for the word groom means to prepare or train for a particular purpose or activity. Now again, if we read Genesis 2, which if you go in, the Lord took the man and he put him in the garden to work and take care of it. So the man was in the garden first and he was already tending to it. God already put down the vision of what he's supposed to do, gave him a set of rules. He already named all the animals. He had his garden laid out. And then he created the helpmate, which was the woman, to come into the garden and assist the man with his vision, his garden, right? You're teaching me how to what the animal names are, what the rules are, what the laws are.
This is for educational purposes only. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai. Want to start off by, we see the title, Bride-Groom. Grooming you is what he does. Lesson from a housewife, a submissive wife. A lesson from a submissive wife. I want to get this precept. This is Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. I wanted to go into this first because Esau is a very profane person. And the reason why I'm bringing this out is because she said grooming. Now, the slang word for grooming, and I'm going to bring this out because I have to, because our minds have been trained to go into the profanity of something that used to be good. It says, what does it mean to be groomed in slang? What is grooming? Grooming is when someone builds your trust to make a connection with you to get you to do something sexual or illegal. Grooming can happen to anyone, and it is never your fault. Someone could be groomed by someone they know, by a stranger, or by a person they met online. That's the slang word for groomed, right? So they took the word of bridegroom, and now when they hear that word, they're using it in a slang mentality, and it's now bad. So we have to be careful on how we use these words when we deliver the message of God. Bridegroom, right? Grooming isn't a bad thing. It says groom. The definition of groom, it means brush and clean the coat of. Brush and clean the coat of. It says prepare or train someone for a particular purpose or activity. Another definition, a person employed to take care of horses. Another definition, a bridegroom. So grooming or groom isn't bad, or it didn't used to be bad, but now it is, because the profanity of this world is now profane. And I want to get into this definition as well as profane or profanity. What is the meaning of the word profane? To treat something sacred with abuse, irreverence, or contempt. Discreet, to debase by a wrong, unworthy, vulgar, or vulgar use. Right? So, a profaner noun. So, we see that profane is irreverence and contempt. And I want to get the definition of that. It says to treat something sacred with abuse. That's the first thing it said. So let's get the word irreverent. Irreverence. It says a lack of respect for a person, a lack of respect for people or things that are generally taken seriously. So profane can go into a lack of respect for people or things that are generally taken seriously. So that's what Esau does. Esau, the things that we take seriously, he has a lack of respect for it. Let's go into the word contempt. Contempt. It says the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless. That's exactly a good definition for profane, and it's an even better definition for this country, this world. This world, they have a tendency to feel like everything is beneath them. There's nothing that they should keep sacred. Everything is worthless, especially when it comes to the Bible. That's just the way this place is. And it's made the people in this place that same way. Let's get back to the scriptures. So that's what Esau does. And in the Bible, the Most High God, Yahweh, and his son, Yahweh Shai, that's what they do. They groom us or clean us. They clean us. Now let's get the biblical precept to it. Psalms chapter 51 and verse 7, it says, "Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow." So this is a cleaning agent. David is asking the Most High God to clean him, to wash him. That is grooming. Another definition, or another precept, Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 16, it says, "Wash you, make you clean, put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil." This is how you clean yourself in the eyes of the Most High God, by putting away evil. And God is the only one that tells us what evil is and what good is. It's not what you think evil is. It's what God thinks evil is, or what he says evil is. Right? It's not what your mama say evil is. Your daddy is what he says evil is. So this is how the Most High God cleans us or grooms us. It's not a bad thing. I want to go into the book of Psalms chapter 45 and verse 10. And I want to bring this out in a few different translations. Psalms chapter 45 and verse 10. And I'm going to bring this out in the KJV first. It says, "Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ears. Forget also thy own people and thy father's house. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship him." Now, when you go into the book of Psalms chapter 45, it talks about a bride and a bridegroom getting married. And this is exactly what we're seeing. David is saying through the Spirit that the daughter should forget what she learned from her father and all her people. It doesn't mean forget everything, but don't bring what you learned into your husband's house, because it will then become the husband's house will become the father's house. So I have daughters. If I told my daughters, "Hey, this is how I like my spaghetti cooked," and that my daughter now takes that same way of cooking to her husband, and her husband don't like it, but she's like, "Well, that's how my father likes it," that is no longer her husband's house. That is my house. So this is what King David is trying to relay to his daughter. It says, "Hearken, O daughter, and consider, and incline thine ears," meaning listen up. "Forget also thy own people and thy father's house. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy Lord, and worship him." He's telling her to worship him. Now let's find out what it says in a different translation. This is in the NCV. It says, listen to me, daughter, look and pay attention. Forget your people and your father's family. The king loves your beauty because he is your master. You should obey him. So he's telling her again, this is how the king is going to love you, basically, if you obey him. I want to get one more translation, and then I'm going to go into a precept that talks about this in another way. This is in the ESV. Hear, O daughter, and consider, and incline your ears. Forget your people and your father's house, and the king will desire your beauty. Since he is your Lord, bow to him. He is your Lord, bow to him. Right? So let's hear what Peter has to say, how our foremothers did. This is 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 5 in the NLT. It says, this is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in God and accepted the authority of their husbands. King David said this exact same thing. Peter is telling them this is how to become beautiful, right? So they're saying the same thing. What are they saying? To obey their husbands, obey and trust in the Most High God. This is what they're saying. I'm going to read it one more time. This is how the holy women of old made themselves beautiful. They put their trust in God and they accepted the authority of their husbands. This is how a wife becomes beautiful. This is how she is groomed. Now, let's get into it, because we know Ephesians chapter 5 talks about cleaning, a husband cleaning his wife like Christ cleaned the church. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 21, it says, submit yourselves one to another in the fear of God. So we're supposed to put our trust in God, be obedient to God. Verse 22, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. So, for the husband is the head, he is the authority. He's the authority figure over the wife. It says, even as Christ is the head of the church. So we can understand Christ being the head of the church. Now we need to understand the husband being the head of the wife. It says, and he is the Savior of the body. He is the Savior of the body. Christ is the Savior of the body, just like the husband is supposed to be the Savior of his wife. Verse 24, therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. So the same way Christ is the Savior of the church, the same way the husband is to his wife. We're going to get to it. Remember, we're talking about cleaning, grooming. It says, husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it. Remember, grooming or groom means to clean, right? Or brush. So again, it says that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word. So Christ wash and cleans the church the same way the husband is supposed to clean and wash his wife. It is a grooming mechanism. It's a cleaning. He's training her. He's teaching her. He's getting her prepared, just like Christ is getting the church prepared for himself. Watch this. It says, verse 27, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy without blemish, so ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. So again, Christ is presenting the church to himself after he cleans it. The same way a husband presents his wife to himself as he cleans her, he grooms her, he teaches her how he likes the things that he likes. She should be wanting to please her husband so that she can be greatly desired. The only way you will be greatly desired is by being obedient and by being groomed, right? So with that, Lord willing, brothers and sisters was edified and got some understanding about grooming. And again, it is just another lesson from a submissive wife. So I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.